Is the Oregon Vortex a gateway to hell? Is it perhaps a figment of the collective imaginations of everyone who's been there? Or maybe it's just a giant prank being played on us by God himself? Stick around and you might just find out the answers to these questions on this episode of Unsolved Mysteries. Solved! Welcome back to the podcast, Mystery Solvers. It is Saturday. Mysterious Saturday, as I like to say. And that means we got a brand new... Sorry, what?
I've never heard you say that.
I used to say Thursday, but I had to change the drop day to Saturday, so...
Oh, so now you say it. Okay.
Now Saturdays are the most mysterious day. Anyway, we got a doozy, I'm told, a doozy of a topic today. Joining me once again for the fourth or fifth time, I can't remember.
I think fifth.
Yeah, is Mr. RJ Enns. He's going to be presenting a topic for us. Welcome back, RJ.
Thank you very much for having me again, Chad. Pleasure to be here as always.
Sorry, just the way you said it, I was thinking I am a pleasure to be around.
Well, if the shoe fits, wear it.
Do you have any new PhDs?
No new PhDs, but I'm doing some Reiki training, so I should be able to heal your energies very soon.
Oh, can you do that through the internet?
Dude, it's energy. Shit goes everywhere. It's all we are. We're all just energy.
All we are is energy and the internet. Anyway, so you told me that you wanted to present this one, so I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away because we've wasted enough time bullshitting as it is.
So, in my search for energy dominance, I may have stumbled upon something truly fascinating. Now, what I'm about to talk about it's not this hidden thing. I mean, it is somewhat of a tourist attraction, but is it more? Could this possibly be the gateway to hell? I don't know. I'm asking.
Well, see, I think there are supposedly 7. There's one on each continent, but if this is a gateway to hell, then that means that either this one is not, or have you heard of Stoll Cemetery?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the one that's...
The Pope will not fly over Stoll.
Yeah.
I don't know how often that's come up in the Pope's life, but he won't.
Also, it's a very funny imagery to me to have a gateway to hell in Antarctica.
I mean, in Dante's, what is it? Is it the 7th circle of hell that is completely frozen over? A frozen over lake, I believe. Just saying.
And Antarctica was the final continent of the 7 to be actually named a continent.
Just 7 portals to hell, 7 circles of hell.
Oh my god! I think we just
this is a topic for a different day.
Right? We didn't solve this, but we might have stumbled across something else. Anyway, continue.
No, I do not believe this is a portal to hell, but it may be. I'm just saying we don't know it is or isn't. It might be a portal to heaven. It might be a portal to another dimension.
It might be a portal to London.
It might be, but I doubt it because no one has experienced that yet. So I'm going to take us to a little town called Gold Hill in the beautiful state, I think, I've never been there, of Oregon.
Oregon is quite beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful. Now, Gold Hill, as you may infer, was named so because of the gold rush. There were mining operations up there, panning gold from the rivers. But just a little bit outside of Gold Hill, you'll find something interesting in the dense forest. A clearing where all of the trees and plant life stop. And they seem to grow inward towards this circle.
Inward as in, are you saying, the plants seem to reach towards this
Yes,
circle?
they are leaning into this circle.
That's cool.
And animals also won't enter this clearing. In a recent documented investigation, because this place has gone under scrutiny. The owners have always been 100% transparent and open towards investigations. They have allowed scientists and skeptics and doctors, all the kind, to come in and do whatever research they want. They allow video cameras, regular cameras, can all be brought onto the premises and photos taken. And they're completely open. They don't disallow anything. Which to me gives this place a lot of weird credibility because there's no, nothing's been shut down of you can't do that here, you
Right.
can't investigate. Now, this land was land that was inhabited by the Native American Indians before the colonization. And
Okay.
the tribes were aware of its presence, and they described it as always having strange energies around it. So when the miners moved into this area, specifically into what we're going to call the Vortex, because that is what it is referred to as, the Vortex in Oregon.
Gotcha.
When these miners moved in, they abandoned it less than 10 years later. And the mining cabin where they would pan for gold is still there. It's still standing, but it is now completely leaning in towards the center of the vortex, but still standing. And I've sent you some pictures, and
Yes.
that you can see the cabin in these pictures and the steep lean that it has going on.
Yeah, it's, I mean, for the people who are listening, it almost looks like it's falling into a sinkhole.
Right.
Like that's how bad it's leaning.
And you can see the trees on either side of it also leaning in.
Yeah.
So this is called the Vortex House. It is open 7 days a week, between March and October every year. You can go visit it. You can take your pictures. You can bring your family. There's, it is a tourist attraction, and they are very transparent and very open, which I think is pretty cool, because a lot of these mysteries, it's you can't get firsthand experience with them.
Yeah, that's we were talking about Stoll earlier. I remember.
Yeah, that's one that you can't really access anymore.
What was it like? I think it was 15 years ago. They shut it down because people were trespassing. It's private property, and people kept trespassing in the middle of the night trying to see ghosts. And
they demolished the church, I believe, that it was famous for.
Yeah, they completely tore down the church, and it's like I don't know how much it's a huge fine if you're caught out there, because it is private property. So, but anyway.
Well, and this is private property too. It is privately owned. Now, the guy who owned it, I didn't put his name down in my notes because I'm a dum-dum, but he owned it for a long time. But when he passed away somewhat recently, he left it to another family, someone in his family, who then sold it off to the current owners, who have kept the experience the same. They have, continued the tours. They have invited scientists and skeptics to conduct research. But this place is weirder than what I've already said. It gets even weirder. So there are these places in it that are level. They are completely level. You can set a marble on the ground. There are videos of this on YouTube. You can find it. And the marble will stand still. There are people putting levels on the ground that show that it is level.
Right.
But if you'll look at the top picture that in the documents that I've sent you, these two men appear to be the same height. The picture below it, after they've changed places, shows they are definitely not the same height. Because as one person gets closer into this vortex, they shrink.
What?
Yeah, it's really wild.
In the second picture, it looks like the guy who's closer to the vortex got taller instead of smaller.
I can't remember which way the vortex is from here. I think it is that way, but I'm not exactly sure which direction it's supposed to be going, but they're changing heights. I mean, that board they're standing on is level.
Right.
Is level earth, and between the two sides they're changing size.
And this, I mean, the board almost looks like it's elevated on one end.
And it is to even it. I mean, that's to keep it level. The board was added by the tour people to give people solid ground to stand on that is perfectly level.
But like this is wrinkling my brain right now, because it looks like it makes sense, but then what you're telling me is that anyway. I don't know. So
let's go down a little bit more. So along the northern edge of the area, there is a even shorter platform that demonstrates this, because it's not everywhere in the vortex. There are just certain places where this happens. So here's another one where we have two images next to each other of people standing on either side with the camera at the same place, and you can see that on the left people shrink the way this photo was taken.
Because in the right-hand photo, there's clearly not as much of a height difference between the two of them.
Right. And so down below that are a couple of pictures that use those two pictures above to demonstrate this height difference from composite imaging. That these people are standing on the same plane, but it looks like they lose mass on one side, which is wild.
It even looks like they're like maybe thinner on the left side.
Yeah, it is really strange what's happening. And there are videos of this happening on YouTube. You can watch it happen in front of you where people, it's like they cross a threshold and they shrink before your eyes. Like you see it happen. And the people who are doing this describe a weird sensation of their perspective shifting, like their eyes dropping.
So, and I'm sure you're going to get into this later. Is this some kind of like distortion in the gravity field or something that's causing an optical illusion?
So we'll get into that when I get to the scientific possibilities that people have discussed.
Gotcha.
I want to get through some of these pictures. So inside the house, people can stand at almost sideways positions, but to them it feels like they're standing straight up. So in this image below, what's interesting is that's just a chain hanging straight down. So that you can see where gravity's effect is,
right?
How it's pulling the chain, and then the way this kid can just stand there without supporting himself, leaning that far to the side.
So like if you were to be standing there looking at it, not through the camera, the chain would look like it's just hanging straight down, because it kind of looks like it's skewed to the left a little bit. But is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so the chain is being pulled down by natural gravity, but you can stand at a very sharp angle and not feel like you're not being supported.
It's so freaking weird.
It's really strange, and there are other videos and images out there. I mean, if you just Google the Oregon Vortex house,
right,
you'll find pictures of pendulums that are hanging in there and levels that people have set to show that, yes, this is a level surface, but it feels like it's at an angle.
All I know is this is some witchcraft devilry bullshit, and I'm not okay with it.
It is. It really feels that way.
What's that subreddit? Dark magic trickery or whatever?
Black magic I think. But I mean, there are other phenomenon that you can, again, see online of water that runs uphill. And there's a place where if you put a marble, it's in the house. If you put a marble on this track, it will move up. It will just move up and drop out the other side.
What the
So everything is so strange here. Now, rumor has it that the once longtime owner discovered something about this place. Discovered something horrific and like mind-blowing, to the point that he burned his notes before he died. So we don't know what it is he discovered. And again, this is a rumor. I want to make that clear.
It's an elder god.
Well, yeah.
It's like, oh no, I can't let anybody read these notes or they'll go insane because of Cthulhu or whoever.
Cthulhu is World of Warcraft.
Oh, I was thinking Cthulhu was one of the elder gods too.
Well, his name is based off of that, yes. So are there any questions you kind of have about this place before I get into what some of the scientists say about it?
Only about 1 trillion, but I mean, all of them have to do with what you're probably about to talk about. So real quick. So the guy, he found something. And like rumor has it that he found something and he made a bunch of notes about it, but it was so horrifying to him that he burned all of the notes. So we don't know what it was he found.
Correct. While we're talking about rumors, I also want to say that people have heard voices when they get closer to the center of the vortex, calling out to them. Some anecdotes say people have thrown things at the voices and it gets thrown back at them. But other people have seen the apparition of this man who owned it for so long, parading around the grounds. Sometimes he's just walking around with a notebook, writing things down. Sometimes he's looking out over the vortex, and sometimes he looks very deranged and is plucking out his own eyebrows.
What the f***? I laughed because the imagery of throwing something, not in the direction of the voices, but literally at the voices at an intangible object. Like, I don't know. It's just really funny to me.
It is. It is funny.
Like, you no, f*** you. I don't want to. And they start throwing rocks and they just get thrown back like, God damn it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. These people are clearly mad.
Stop it. I don't want to kill all these people. Sorry.
This place just sounds so weird, man. You know, from the animals refusing to enter.
Yeah.
One of the scientific expeditions had scientists come in on horseback, but as soon as they got to the edge of the vortex, the horses stopped and about faced. Trained horses would not enter this land.
Damn. So I'm guessing there's documentation of people like bringing their pets too, and the pets won't go near it.
I didn't read any of that, but I would guess. I mean, I didn't see any pictures of any animals in this wilderness area.
Okay.
And there are pictures of the trees leaning in, and footage of the water running uphill and marbles rolling uphill. Anyways, so scientists have said that one thing they believe is possible, because this is, you know, a mineral deposit area, that they think there might be a large mass of mineral under the ground.
Yeah.
That would have enough mass to throw off gravity, and because we have such a loose understanding of gravity anyway, we don't really understand what all the ramifications that could be, what it could be doing to other laws of physics. That seems to be the most common theory, and I think it's that way because it's the easiest to just go, yeah, okay, because we don't really understand it anyway.
Right.
You know, I have heard people talking about, you know, the theory that, you know, we are all just made up of energy vibrating, and that this is a place where energy is just very differently being swirled around, hence the name Vortex. The symbol of the vortex, you know, just the spiral, is a very old symbol to humans. It's not new. I mean, we've understood these things for a long time as existing, and that this is basically a whirlpool, but for indescribable forces and energies that we don't understand, as opposed to, you know, water or air that we normally see as whirlpools in the ocean, or a tornado, or what have you.
Or fire or earth.
Yes, fire tornadoes or earth tornadoes, both very dangerous.
I've seen Avatar, man. So.
Hey, I am goddamn scared of goddamn fire tornadoes. Goddamn.
Goddamn.
But why are we doing this podcast? I mean, what are we trying to do?
Solve mysteries?
Right, we're here to solve it.
Oh, I was like, what do you mean, why are we doing this?
It's rhetorical. So, I'm pretty sure that it's been solved. I think there's only really one thing that makes sense here. What I think is happening, and maybe I'm way out of my depth, I doubt it, but I truly believe that this previous owner of this place found some history of some occult as shit stuff.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, I'm thinking like, you know, as you mentioned, on the lines of like Lovecraft, that this place was, you know, maybe it already had a special energy and that's what drew it, but it seems like a prison to me.
Right. And well, if you think about it, if it's true that he made these notes and then burned them just like because it was just so horrific, there's only one thing it could be, and that's going to be something either paranormal or supernatural or, like, you know, occult. And I'm sure it was so long ago. So first off, this is clearly, there is some kind of black magic f***ery going on here. We try to stay away from the paranormal on this podcast, but sometimes it sneaks in and you just can't. I mean, if a ghost slaps you in the face, you can't go, that's not a ghost. You got to go, well. We go for the most logical. Like, for example, the Roanoke episode, the solution was that Poseidon and Hades teamed up and destroyed the lost colony of Roanoke. You know, very, very realistic things that probably actually happened. And I can't even say this with a straight face. You know, so we try to err on the side of science like Greek gods. But so, like I said, you know, if a ghost walks up to you and slaps you in the face, you can try to deny it. But if he slaps you again, at some point, you're going to have to go, okay, yeah, this is a ghost that keeps slapping me. And, like, I know that was really rambly, but I don't know if I got my point across or not.
No, I get what you're saying. So apparently this house has been a topic of an episode of X-Files. So
Oh.
people might already know about it as we're talking about it.
Right. And I'm sure a lot of paranormal podcasts have probably covered it too.
I'm sure. So John Litster was a geologist. He was a man of science. I mean, that's the other thing is when he got this place, he was a mineral geologist, which is why I think he was interested in the area.
Right.
He was Scottish. He was a mining engineer as well. And he spent his life trying to make sense of this place in addition to having it open to the public. His theory is that it was a spherical force field that was half the sphere above the ground and half below. He does have a collection of his notes published. This is obviously not the notes we talked about that were apparently so maddening that he burned them.
Right.
Which again is just a rumor, but you can buy it online for $7 from the official website for the Vortex house.
Okay.
So
I know what happened or what it is, what's going on.
That's good.
I want to hear what you got, what you're messing with over there.
Well, I mean, I think the two most likely options is, the basic boring science explanation that, there's something underground causing this. Woo. But I mean, that just seems like so just tired, and it sounds like what scientists would say if they had no idea what the heck was going on. But what I think is, I mean, this is an area that the local tribes avoided, that it was, you didn't go there. This is an area that animals don't go. And I think that something that I believe is scientific, I just think it's science from a different time period. What kind of almost an inverse of any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. But I think this is almost the inverse of any unexplainable archaic solution is indistinguishable from magic. And that this is thousands of years ago, before humans as we knew them walked in North America, that something was imprisoned here on this site, which caused the wildlife to avoid it, the fauna to not or the flora to lean inwards toward it but not grow into it. That's causing these gravitational and physical abnormalities. Because I have a feeling if it was a purely modern scientific answer to it, it would have been discovered. There have been literally thousands of experiments and tests and investigations done by people of repute, and they haven't figured it out. So
somewhere along the way, somebody would have figured something out.
You would think so, which is why I'm just going to go ahead and solve it by saying that this is, some kind of prison for an ancient being.
So I'm going to agree with you to a certain degree, to a certain extent. It's not that it was a prison, it's that it is kind of a prison. Look, this is a portal to the kaiju world, and it's just not fully open yet. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Ooh.
Kaiju exists, ladies and gentlemen.
Obviously.
Like Pacific Rim is a very fictionalized version. But kaiju do exist, and this is basically a portal to the kaiju world that has not fully opened yet.
Do you know of any others of these around the world?
I believe that Stull is probably one.
Man, getting a lot in North America.
Well, Americans have all the best things. Except for, the other countries that have, castles and...
Healthcare,
police that don't brutalize the people they were sworn to protect. The Eiffel Tower, basic human rights.
Just some little things.
The Eiffel Tower, basic human right. Healthcare, basic human right. The Tower of London, basic human right. Not being shot by the police for being black, basic human right.
Do you think that we are infringing upon the rights of the native kaiju by keeping this closed?
I don't think we are keeping it closed. I think it's just because, see, time travels. Time flows differently between our two dimensions. And so, for them, they are just seconds away from breaking through. And they have been for hundreds of thousands of years.
Interesting. So what if this? I have another. Your theory kind of opened up a little nook in my brain. I got to get this out there.
It's not a theory, Mr. Evans. I have a PhD. Remember.
Okay, so do I. let's keep going. So, what if they are keeping us out?
Wait, are we the Voidbringers?
Okay, first of all, I'm so sorry for everybody who just had Oathbringer spoiled for them.
It's been out long enough.
Yeah, that's true. What if this isn't a prison so much as preventing us from coming into someone else's realm, some other pocket dimension?
I mean, all I know is that this is a barrier between dimensions.
Yeah, that is definite. I mean, I don't think either of us are in disagreement there.
I mean, I threw out the kaiju thing because for me that's the most likely, but it could be that this is, a seal that's keeping us out.
So some other things that I think I either glossed over or didn't mention earlier. Some people have reported that there are time differences at certain parts of the vortex where time moves more quickly or more slowly.
Time dilation field.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Called it. Didn't even know that, actually.
Yeah, I think I'd forgotten to mention it. So that's one of because there are a lot of these minor phenomena that are less provable than the ones that we talked about at the beginning that I kind of left out of that discussion.
Are they weird pockets, or is it just like the closer you get, the faster time moves or something?
It seems to be weird pockets, but not everybody experiences it, which some metaphysicists have explained as because we are all made up of energy, that different energy frequencies and vibrations will react differently to certain aspects of the vortex. So while some of it is pretty universal, like the area where people seem to lose mass and shrink, other parts of it are not.
Well, so since it doesn't happen for everyone, I'm just imagining that it started with a guy who had a watch that was broken and ran fast.
Oh, right.
He steps over. He's like, "What time you got?" "My watch is 2 minutes past." "Oh my God, this is a time dilation field." And they're like, "No, Joseph, you just need to get your watch fixed. We've been telling you this for 3 weeks. You're always late."
Right. And the other thing is when I was going through these sources, they didn't explain how the people knew that time was sped up or slowing down. So that's why I didn't really include it with some of the more harder facts.
So it could just be people claiming that.
Right. It could be people claiming that, or people that were already just kind of weirded out by the general weirdness of the place. And, right. God, sometimes when I'm in Walmart, it seems like it takes 27 years to get to the cash register with one person in front of me. I mean, time dilation happens in our brains pretty often during our normal lives.
Yeah.
So that's harder to prove. But the thing is there's just enough weird about this place without even bringing up the unprovable aspects.
Right. I mean, this episode, I bet the listeners are going, "God, it feels like we've been listening to these guys talk about this shit for 2 hours."
Well, that's just because we're not funny.
Well, I would disagree.
Well,
Speak for yourself.
I'll speak for whomever I feel like. How about that?
That is the American way.
You can't stop me. I got my freedoms.
Oh, man. So it sounds like we've come to a conclusion of some sort. Well, first off, do you have anything else?
I want to mention that, some scientists have attributed these changes to optical illusions.
Which I know can happen in extreme gravity wells and stuff.
But that, I don't know, I've seen enough of this evidence that I don't think it is optical illusions. At least the ones that I mentioned at the beginning that seem to be pretty set in stone, that these are weird anomalies that you're not going to encounter anywhere else really in the world.
Right.
So,
but like I said, it sounds like we've come to a conclusion that this is a portal to, or a window to, another dimension.
Absolutely.
Now, whether something is trying to get out or something is trying to keep us out of their dimension is yet. I want to go back to the Voidbringers thing. If you hadn't mentioned the Oathbringer, the fact that it was from Oathbringer, they might not have even known what I was talking about. So that one's on you. Back to what I was saying.
Well, now the entirety of the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson has been spoiled, which is a major player in his overarching Cosmere universe involving the books of the Mistborn series, Elantris, Warbreaker, the Stormlight Archives, and a bunch of short stories collected in the Arcanum Unbounded.
I mean, I think you forgot to mention that, Stormlight Archives is his flagship series in the Cosmere.
Oh, yes, of course. It is his the most important one of the Cosmere. So Brandon Sanderson, if you're listening, we are fans. We are fans.
Who would like a free audiobook because we just gave you free publicity
to
the 3 people who are listening to this episode.
Exactly. All 3 of them are going to go out and buy The Way of Kings, even though they already know that we are the Voidbringers.
Not us.
No, you and I are the Voidbringers. Did you miss that part?
I really misinterpreted Oathbringer.
Yeah, the part where they said you, the reader, are the Voidbringer, and I was like, whoa, this shit's meta.
Must have missed that one.
I guess.
Went right over my head. Anyway, we've gotten way off track. Like we always do on this podcast. So yes, conclusion is, again, this is a portal to another dimension.
Definitely. Yeah.
Are we being kept out of that dimension, or is it keeping something out of our dimension? We don't know.
You should go see it for yourself.
I would like to go into the actual vortex and just start digging and see if I can break through and find out. With that being said, I am now launching today. I will be launching the podcast Patreon. There's only one tier. It is $10,000. You don't get any benefits, but it's just so that I can go to Oregon and dig in the middle of the vortex.
Okay, it doesn't cost $10,000 to go to Oregon.
You don't know how long it's going to take. I'm going to need heavy machinery, and I can't. I'm going to have to miss a lot of work. Still got bills to pay.
Okay.
I'm covering my ass.
Hey, you do you.
That tier, the benefit that you will get will be that I will report my findings.
Only to you.
Yeah, only to the person or the people who donate $10,000 on Patreon. That is assuming that I don't uncover some kind of elder god and go insane.
Well, there you have it.
So I'd like to thank RJ Ends for being on the show again.
Oh, I'm always pleased to bring something weird to your ear holes, and the Antikythera device kind of broke the episode a little bit.
Yeah. So after that episode, I was contacted by ASU, and they said, "Hey, bro, you failed to solve a mystery. That's 1 black mark against your PhD. 2 more in the next year, and we're gonna have to revoke it." So
that shouldn't be an issue, considering ASU is not a real university. I mean, Arizona State University is, but Always Right University is not a real university.
It's just a guy in his basement. He's like, "Hey, you couldn't solve that one, so if you 2 more in a year, I'm gonna have to revoke your fake degree."
Their staff is very up to date on what all of their graduates are doing.
It's because there's only one. It's me.
Yeah, I can't believe you gave that guy in his basement in Miami $27,000 for a PhD.
Hey, have you seen what real PhDs go for? I feel like I got to steal.
You did get stolen from. That is true.
Anyway, as usual, if you have a mystery that you would like for us to solve on the podcast, you can send that in an email to mysteriessolvedpodcast, all one word, @gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Unsolved Mysteries Solved, and on Twitter at UMS_podcast. And go to iTunes, Stitcher, Podchaser, wherever you want. Leave us a review. 5-star rating. As I keep saying, anything less is a dick move, and you're dead to me if you don't leave a 5-star rating. And if you want to support the podcast, just keep spreading the good word. And we'll see you right back here next Saturday, with a brand new mystery. And as always, do not question us, or you will be put down.
Goodness me.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Shut up, man. This is why I don't do these things in person.
Obsessed with UFOs and extraterrestrials?
Convinced there's a chupacabra in your backyard?
Is your doppelganger ruining your life?
Do you love all things haunting related?
If you answered yes to any,
or none of these,
then these are the mostly sensical, slightly drunken ramblings for you? Question mark? I'm Emily.
And I'm Joel, and we're the hosts of Drink Drunk Dead. Join us,
our 2 cats, Emma and Otto, and our house ghost,
every week as we have a few drinks, discuss all things paranormal,
and raise a toast to our ghosts.